I am digging this shit, man. I swear to Bob, I'm not high. I swear to Bob. Oh shit. Okay. Um, I kind of want to should I keep playing it in the background a little bit, like faint? What do you guys think? Hey, Devin. Hey, Devin. Hey. Hey. I think I'm gonna keep this playing in the background. It's a vibe. Yes. It's working techie, to be exact. I think I'm gonna keep it going. I really like it. Okay. Okay, StreamYard. All right. All right. I'm gonna turn it up a little. Yeah, we'll keep it chill. Very chill in the background. I like it. Yeah, keep it playing. All right, cool. Yeah, we gonna do it. Keep it going in the background. 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 All right. So thank you everyone for joining thus far. Thank you. You guys follow instructions very well. I said, get in the chat, say hi, and y'all did just that. So I'm actually going to go ahead and change this a little bit because the show has already started. And y'all can continue saying hi and stuff, but I'm just going to update this real quick. And then I will introduce my guest and we'll get started. So, contrary to what what one of you thought, shout out to Gift, thought it was Wednesday. That's tomorrow. Tomorrow is the Mimi Morning Show, and we'll talk about wrestling then. But it's time. We're still going to talk about wrestling though, but I'm just going to talk about it with a guest. And shout out to everyone that is in the chat thus far. We got John with Sports for You and Sports for You Wrestling. We've got BK with Society and Pop Culture 101. We have got Devin, the Tribal Chief, and doing his show and watch-alongs. As a matter of fact, I believe, Devin, you have a watch-along tonight for TNA, right? I think Sports for You, correct me if I'm wrong, but they also have a live today too, Sports for You. So, this is the Tech, Wrestling, and Life podcast. This is the kind of more serious side of me, kind of, just a little bit. Still kind of silly. Maybe a little less cursing, just a little bit. Oh, it's for NXT. Oh, my bad. See, I'm getting them all mixed up. Everything, just all of the wrestling. There's so much. Yeah. So today is Tracy Talks Tech, Wrestling, and Life. That is my podcast, and sometimes I do. Sometimes I'll just upload, like it depends on the person's schedule. So if the person is okay with going live, we can go live. And I appreciate that because then I don't have to edit. So thank you. If not, we can always still edit. Like it's fine. We can just do, usual I'll record and upload an episode. So either way, they end up on YouTube. Or either on Spotify, but they also end up on Spotify, on Apple Podcasts, Amazon. So yeah, so it gets distributed. So that's on Tuesdays. And it's kind of like whenever I can get around to it, whenever I have a guest. then I will do Tasty Talks. Now, every Wednesday is the Mimi Morning Show because that's by myself. And that's me a little, that's the extra, that's the, we cussing, we keeping it a buck. I mean, we always keep it a buck, but you know what I mean? It's just a little more. This is a little more like chill, just like the background music. A little more chill, a little more like I put a little bit more of my professional hat on, so to speak, ask questions, and we do little deep diving here. So with that said, so Sports for You is at 7:00 Pacific Standard Time tonight. And yes, tune into the shows, and shout out to South Africa. We are I'm international, bitch. Yes, I'm international. I guess me watching Natalie Nunn and Baddies it's rubbing off. I'm getting the international vibes. Hey, I'm not mad at it. But anyways, yes. So without further ado, because I want to be mindful of my guests' time, I am sitting down, as you can see in the ticker, I am sitting down with journalist Megan Ambers, who writes for pro wrestling media outlet bodyslam.net. She also has a blog called I May Speak Candidly, where she is currently highlighting all African-American wrestlers for Black History Month. And she's also the co-host of Transatlantic Takedown podcast. On top of all that, she's a devoted mother. So she is a boss, okay? She is bossing up in these streets. She is one of my favorite, legit. I'm not just saying that. I know people comment. I interview people who I've been watching and who I interact with and who I find interesting. So legit, she is one of my favorite pro wrestling content creators on X. And I am going to go ahead and bring up Megan Ambers, aka I am Megan Ambers.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Thank you for that introduction. It made me feel special. And
Of course.
And shout out to being international.
Thank you.
That's a big deal. That's a really, really
and
big
you are
deal.
too. And you are too now, because you're on here and they're watching from South Africa. So
Yes.
you are too.
Yes. Thank you. Hello.
Yes. Okay, so, all right, let me do a little bit of cleanup around here. Let's see. There we go. We already got people coming up in here acting a fool. Wow.
I saw.
Yeah, it's some weird. People are so weird nowadays. I don't get it.
I don't want to get ahead of myself or what we choose to speak of today, but I will say, you come to learn just how crazy the comments can be, especially when you're on live, and you only have maybe a second and a half to decide whether or not you're going to react to that comment or not, because that reaction can get clipped, and that's one way to go viral, but that's not the right way to go viral. So I think you handled it the best way, which was to simply just ban that person.
Yes, thank you. Because like I said, on this show, since it does go out to Spotify, Apple, I'm me, but I do know that you can't be, there's a time and place for everything. You know what I'm saying? If this was this was the Mimi Morning Show, I'd have been like,
right.
You probably would have,
right.
You know what I mean? But
any other time, if it was a panel full of women, maybe that would have been a conversation to indulge in, but I wouldn't think that would. Now is not the time, you know.
Right, right.
But
Not for the,
I
yeah.
yes. Hi, gift. Thank you for welcoming
Yes.
me. Thank you.
Yes, this is the one who has made us international. So,
Ah, well, hello, hello, hello. And
yeah,
yeah,
so
just
thank you
like I
for
said, just thank
thank
you
you
for having me here.
and thank you for joining me. I mean, you have, you have a following on X, you have your blog, and whenever someone takes the time to engage, when someone who has been in this game, content creation, wrestling, and has kind of been in that world for quite some time, and they take the time to sit down with me or even engage with me on social and kind of, help hype me up, I appreciate it. So
Yeah.
thank you for,
Yes.
thank you for being here as well. So gonna go ahead and just get right into it. Like I said, I want to be mindful of your time. So let's
Yeah.
go ahead and get into it. So I'll go ahead and just start with what got you into wrestling?
Ugh. I mean, just watching it as a kid, it was part of my childhood. Go to school. More boys was talking about it than girls, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
it's conversations that you would have in school, maybe doing some of the moves that you saw on TV that you shouldn't be doing. Um, Definitely the whole DX, you know, the crotch uh movement and stuff, like, yeah, like, like these are things
Yes.
that we saw as kids, and we would do it in school and we would get in trouble for it, and stuff. So um what, like I said, it wasn't too many girls to talk about it in school with, so it gave me a reason to talk to some of the cute boys in school. Hey, did you see Raw yesterday? And it's like, yeah, and before you know it, you just, your whole lunch period is talking about wrestling. So um yeah. And
You used it
when
to
I
hit
first
on.
got
Okay,
into,
that's smart.
yeah, I mean, cause this is like, this had to be 99, 2000. So I'm
Mhm.
about to age myself, but I was in middle school. I was in middle school. I was in the seventh, eighth grade in 2000. So, um, yeah,
Same.
yeah, so, but it worked. It did what it was supposed to do. Hi,
Yeah, for sure.
John. See you everywhere.
Right.
But yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, the biggest thing I remember, of course, the two biggest things I remember was
Hmm.
people were saying, if you smell
Yes.
that
Yes.
and the suck it, that was all over the playground. Like, suck it, suck it, suck it, suck it. Like the whole,
Yeah.
everyone was doing that.
Definitely. I mean,
Mhm.
between those two, and you had um the what came a little later. So of course you had, kids are the biggest trolls. So when they catch on to something, they just they won't let it go. So, you could talk to someone and then they would just do the stone cold what. So every time you were saying something, they would respond with what. Um, but yeah, I mean, it was it was a time where it just felt like wrestling was such a big part of the culture that if you didn't watch it, it was kind of lame. You was a nerd. Like, what do you mean you don't watch wrestling? Kids will come to school with the shirts on and stuff. So it's like you had to if you wanted to be a part of the in crowd, you wanted to at least watch some wrestling. You
Okay.
had to.
Yeah, that's cool. And I mean, I don't really remember it being like one of those things where if you wanted to be part of the in crowd, you kind of had to watch it. I just remember like people saying and doing the things. Although I really
Hmm.
wasn't like one of those, I really wasn't like a popular kid. I was like heavier, and my mom kind of dressed me older than what I was
Hmm.
and would do my hair up and stuff like that.
Right.
So, and I kind of just came across as older and just like kind of not like your traditional like kid, so to speak. Um,
Hmm.
yeah. So, you grew up in on the East Coast, right?
Yes. Yep. In New
Okay.
York City.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And so you discovered wrestling at a younger
Hmm.
age, and I'm assuming you kind of just kept up with it, right? Like as you go,
No.
or did you? No, you kind of went in and out
Yeah.
like
No.
me. Okay.
I took a long break. I watched wrestling maybe up until I was having my son in 2011, and then
Okay.
I just kind of grew not interested in it anymore. And
Hmm.
I did not pick up wrestling again until the pandemic.
Wow, so you
Yeah,
took a long break. Was that
yeah.
when you were not into it anymore? What era was that? Was that around Divas era? Was that before a little before Divas era?
Just coming into the Divas era, I actually what kind of made me stop watching it was just as um CM Punk was leaving. So it was right
Oh,
as he was, he had that really big feud and then he just walked out. So it was around that time, And
you're talking.
I was really into CM Punk, still am.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
it was like he's leaving, so
And you're talking about just WWE because he actually went to another promote. Didn't he go to AEW at that time?
he did. But
Okay.
I had just ironically, I had just started watching AEW when he had returned from the first injury.
Okay.
So just before he had left in 2023. So I did not see the first time he was there. I missed the whole scrum incident when he had
Mm.
won the title. He had injured himself the first time. I had missed all of that. So I didn't really start getting into AEW until he had returned.
Mm.
And he was only there for like 2, 3 months and then he left. So
Okay, when was that? I think you're about to say it, but when was that?
I want to say this had to be, I didn't really get into AEW until the late part of 2022.
Okay.
And he came back the following year.
Oh
So I
wow.
was in and
Okay.
out. I was in and out in
Hmm.
AEW around that time. Like I was watching it for Jade. I didn't know who she was. She was new. So I grew an interest
Oh.
in her. Um, just seeing the other familiar faces there. Christian, Billy Gunn, people that I remember watching growing up in WWE. So there was a lot of people who, made me say, oh, okay, so this is where y'all are because y'all not in WWE anymore, like the Big Show
Mhm.
and JR, so having to learn who, having to learn some of the new faces, it wasn't as hard as I thought it would be. Like learning Bianca, learning
Mm.
Roman, um, n- seeing the Usos, but not putting two and two together that these are Rakishi's boys. So it's like,
Right.
Oh, okay. So it took some getting used to with watching a lot of wrestling because life happened and wrestling just wasn't an interest for me for a very long time. And definitely shout out to the pandemic because that is what made me sit and actually watch it, especially when you're in New York and everything is shut down.
Oh
And they tell
goodness.
you,
Yeah.
go home, because, we don't want you outside. So you just had to
Right.
kind of just sit. And so just seeing SmackDown, it's like, who is this? And you see all these familiar faces, but you also see a lot of new faces. And
Mhm.
yeah, before I know it, I was seeing Bianca at Rolling Loud. And want to say that was 2021. She was
Bianca
at
has
huh?
Bianca has only been in WWE, right? She's never been in any other promotion. So she was in NXT at that time, right?
Wait, say that again.
Bianca has only been in WWE, right? So at that time she was in
Yes.
NXT. Okay. Okay. Oh, nice. Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Gift's a nice history. So about 20 years now of being a wrestling fan. Okay. Yeah, my story is a little similar in the fact that I I was like, okay, yes, of course, like I said, like the Suck It, the Stone Cold, The Rock, If You Smell, all those things. So that's when I first learned about it, but I didn't really like watch it too much. Uh-oh. Okay, hold on.
I don't know what happened.
I don't know
Hap-
either.
But I'm here. I'm back.
Okay, no, that was a quick dropout. It wasn't like, you
No, it
know.
wasn't.
Okay,
It
well, the tech be
wasn't.
teching. The tech is teching. Uh,
Yeah.
so, yeah, no, what I was saying, I don't know if you caught it, but my history is a little bit similar in the fact that, The Rock was my first. Like, I saw The Rock, and that was before I really knew he was Samoan, because I'm
Right.
Samoan. And so
Okay.
I was before, but I just saw this man on my TV screen and was like, okay. At my little age, not little, but you know what I mean, like younger. I'm
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? So then, saw, and of course, saw the Suck It at school, was kind of doing it, all those things, and then
Hmm.
Stone Cold. But I didn't really keep up with it a lot.
Right.
And so hey, um, I didn't really keep up with it like a lot back then. But I did come back. I started watching Total Divas. I caught
Okay.
that. And then that was kind of my way back in a little bit. Although what I will say is when I actually tuned into WWE to watch the Divas, it wasn't this, it didn't translate. Like the show didn't translate to the screen,
Right.
So, and would see it like on Total Divas, they would show them backstage, like engages, stuff like that, but it just didn't, I don't know. It was kind of a disconnect. And I was like, oh,
Hmm.
okay, I guess I'm not really missing out on much. So then
Right.
I like went out again. But then I came back in 2021, I believe. Cause yeah, that was when 2021 was when when I moved to Houston from Phoenix. So I'm currently
Okay.
back in California, but I lived in Phoenix from 2018 to 2021, and then Houston from 2021 to 2023. So in
Okay.
2021, my then girlfriend, she kept it, all she watched was sports and wrestling. So it was every time I went to her house, it was all one of those. And she watched
Yeah.
all the promos. She watched WWE. It was every day, like with something,
Yes.
or football. So
Okay.
yeah, so that's how I saw Rhea Ripley on Raw, and I was like, "Who is this?"
Hmm.
And then, yeah,
Got you from there.
It got me
Yep.
from there. And so every time, like on Monday, I would go to her house. I'd be trying to watch for.
Rhea. Yeah.
I'd be like, we'd be like hanging out in the bed, watching. I'm kind of like low key trying to look like I'm like, well, she's watching, but I'm kind of like looking, and I'm like, okay, is Rhea coming on? Is she coming on? Is she?
Yeah.
And then it just kind of like from there. So
yeah, it's always going to be someone that draws your attention. The wrestling keeps you there, but it's always someone that makes you want to continue to watch this. Like you said with Rhea. As a kid, I want to say that it's weird for me now because I don't see him the same way.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, what's something about Triple H and the hair and the water and the muscles on top of muscles, but you're young and your hormones is kind of out of whack. So, people
Right.
that you would look at then, you look at now and you kind of, but definitely
You're
him,
figuring
but
you're figuring out you're figuring it out. You're figuring out what you like.
but definitely coming back and watching it after all these years, I have to give it to Roman. I just saw Roman and it's like, who is that? Who is this man? Now listen,
Those
I
thighs.
had a love-hate thing for Randy years ago now. The whole legend killer thing, I couldn't stand Randy. But I've grown to appreciate the man that he is today. Absolutely. I do appreciate him. Shout out to Kim. She got herself a good one. Absolutely.
Yeah, those thighs. Okay, Randy Orton, LA Knight, best man thighs in the business.
Yeah. I mean, it used to be The Rock.
Yeah.
But yeah, you gotta give it to Los Angeles and Randy Orton.
Right.
You have to.
For sure. No, hey, Marks with Mikes. Are you talking about the Triple H, the nose?
I saw past that. It was okay. I saw past that.
Nose. I didn't notice the nose.
The nose was there. The nose was there.
That's
But
the French, right? Katie
yeah,
French.
yeah. But like when you in love as a kid, you look past the flaws. I look past the nose.
Nose, yeah. The nose knows, right?
Yes.
Mercedes. Mercedes Monet, I actually just got done listening to, she was on Nick Cannon's show. He has the show where they play spades in the backyard. I didn't know that was a thing that they did. That's really cool. Her and, I forgot her name. Thank you. Yes, Mina. They were on there. It's a new episode. Go check it out. Yeah, it was fun. I had just got done listening to that before coming in here. Yeah,
y'all are doing a number on him. He knows.
Shout out to Mike's.
He knows his nose. He knows his nose is, but it worked for him, especially when he'd get mad and they'll like flare up. It almost looked like he got bigger, but it worked for him. It worked for the character. We appreciate Paul here.
For sure. Gift said Rhonda and the Bella Twins. So was the Riot Squad. Yeah, when Rhonda was in there, I was excited for that because I've been following her since MMA. Yeah. So yeah, I used to watch MMA too a little bit. Roman Reigns. Yeah, I went back and watched it was a YouTube series, all 4 hours of the Bloodline back in the day, how it all started. Yes, I watched all that. That's why Rhea is your favorite. Ah, yeah. Um, so okay, so you've been wrestling fan for quite some time now, just like myself. Now, okay, so you're a journalist,
Yeah.
as described. So how did you become a journalist? And how did the two kind of cross paths?
Uh, um, well, I guess it kind of the origin story kind of starts in high school because um during English class I would always just sit here and write like fictional stories and stuff. Um, but just I was just always a writer. I would just write all the time. And so the school that I went to, if I take a step back, art and design in New York is one of two arts high schools in New York. So you have art and design and you have fashion industries. You think of art and design, you might think of Mobb Deep, you might think of Tony Bennett, uh, Clifton Powell, just to name a few of our alumni. You think of fashion industries, Angela Simmons, she went there. So there's a lot of good people that have come out of those schools, and either they have gone on to doing fashion or they went on to do something entirely different. And so honestly, by the senior year, I kind of was over fashion. I didn't want to do it anymore. And so my English teacher told me, you got a skill for writing. Maybe that's something that you should be focusing on. You're really gifted at it. But my first professional job didn't come until years later, and that was for Hollywood Unlocked. It was at the very beginning of Hollywood Unlocked, so Jason Lee was still very much a cast member of Love and Hip Hop. He was still a part of the show, and at the time, Hollywood Unlocked was a part of the storylines. So I was only there for a few months before I left, and it wasn't until the following year that I started writing for The Source. I wrote for The Source. I went to write for Vashti Cola. So I was writing for them too at the same time. And the years kind of went, it's a blur. Because from 2017 up until 2022, it was a whole line of different publications that I was writing for. And a lot of ups and downs came with that as well. And learning that it doesn't really matter how good you are. People are going to, let me correct myself. It doesn't matter how good you think you are, because you're going to have people that's going to tell you you're not good enough. And by the time I got to Revolt TV, which was the middle of 2022, I was burnt out. I didn't feel like I wanted to write anymore. Just due to the years of going consistently and having so many doors closed in my face, or losing friendships because of, different things that will come up simply because they see their friend coming into something. So of course, they feel like, well, you could look out for me, right, friend? Like, you can hook me up. And yeah, I pretty much came to a standstill. And by the end of 2023, a friend had told me about Wrestling Republic. and she said, they're looking for writers. I don't know if they're necessarily paying at the moment, but if you want to kind of like get your feet wet in writing again after taking the break, that is one of the places that you could go. And I wrote one article for them. I wrote one article, and it was about Cody, and it was on pretty much me writing why he needed to win WrestleMania 39, WrestleMania 40, the one in Philadelphia, which he won. But I that was my first article in covering sports or wrestling, and from there, that's when the podcast came along. Like, hey, we're starting a new podcast, we're starting a new show, which at the time Wrestling Republic had the Daily, and they had a few other shows. So they wanted to start a new show that was going to be every Sunday night spotlight. And they wanted me and the friend who had put me on to be a part of it. And that is kind of what kind of shifted the gears for me from writing to podcasting.
Wow. So that's where did Transatlantic come from there, or If I May Speak Candidly?
Well, okay. So when I started podcasting for Wrestling Republic, there was just certain things kept coming up that had came up before in the past, which was, we like you to be opinionated, but not too opinionated. We don't want to upset the wrong people. And so I said, okay, cool. I've heard this before. I will just create a Medium column and just write what I can't say on here over there. So If I May Speak Candidly, which is where the name comes from.
Started,
which is where the name came from, because I felt like, okay, like I said, in less than 2 weeks, I'll be 39. So we're talking, I was 37. And
you're younger than me a little bit. I'll be 40.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
But we don't look it, No,
I know, right? The period.
There you go. But I just felt like, listen, and it's no disrespect to Ben, who does run Wrestling Republic. I still have much appreciation and gratitude to him for allowing me to be on his platform and talking to the wrestlers that I did talk to on there, as well as just share my opinions about things. But I kind of looked at the age difference between me and him, because at the time, Ben was just entering in his 20s. So that didn't really sit well with me to kind of be put in a box by someone who could be a little brother to me. And that's what also motivated me to just put your own thing on the side, it'd be yours. And but during that time, I kept being reminded by people like, look, you write well, write really well. That's right, period.
Unless you do crap, then yeah, unfortunately. But
and some of us do.
Not us. Right,
not us.
Clear.
But yeah, I just kept being reminded, like, hey, like, you write really well, but people want to see podcasters. The attention span is short. You got to get your point out quicker than a 3 or 4 minute read. People just aren't really reading like that anymore. And so then that's when the podcast came along, you know? And so it was a little nerve-wracking because I went from doing panels with other people to just doing it by myself. But then the freedom of not having to, kind of get permission to say this or say that. If I feel strongly about something, I can curse. Became addictive. It became addictive. So, oh no, I'm class of '05.
Okay, yeah.
So I'm a little behind y'all, but
Just a little. No, I was cool with the '05 in my school too. We was cool, Um, yeah. So okay, so that's how If I May Speak Candidly came.
yeah,
That's awesome. Yeah, and I mean too, what you were saying about was it Brandon you said who ran at the time? Who
Ben,
was Ben?
Ben,
He
yeah, he
was
still
he
runs
was
it.
yeah. Well, at the time, he was young and he was probably getting started his career. And that was probably another reason why he was like, I didn't want to shake, you don't want to shake the table.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying?
no, because at
But
the
yeah.
time, because this is like 2 years ago, Ben said he's been doing this since he was 13.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh,
Ben he got some years in the game, but
okay. Wow.
it's
At 13?
just,
How did you get started at 13? I may have to interview
I
him. How
know,
did you get
I know. Look,
started?
my son is he's 14. He'll be 15 in August, and he's already looking to do what I do. And I said, we're going to ease into it because the world is cruel,
Mm,
and I am a mama bear. So,
okay.
if I see, I'll be his mod. I'll be his moderator. I'll be his
Okay.
bodyguard. I'll
There we
be his
go.
manager. I'll be everything.
Momager.
Yes, that's right. I'll be there. People think Chris started that. No, it was Ashanti's mother. Look it up. She
There
was
we
the
go.
original momager. But
Hmm.
but yeah. So as for Transatlantic Takedown, that's actually a kind of a funny story because me and Derek met doing an interview just like this, and he kind of came up with the idea, and he said, why don't we do a show where we both speak of our opinions of wrestling from the different walks of life? Like, hey, I'm in Ireland, you're in New York. It can't get no more different than that. And yeah, and that just how that kind of was born, just
Okay.
yeah.
Okay. So you write, so If I May Speak Candidly has a blog on Medium,
Yes,
also a podcast, and then you're
yes,
also on or co-host of Transatlantic Takedown.
yes.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, Walker's mom, I forgot her
Deborah.
name. There we go. Yes, Deb. She had
Yes.
a show. Did you guys ever catch Deb's show? Her show, it was a rapper show. So she had gotten a bunch of like female rappers together in a house. It was like a reality show. And yeah, I don't think it went past the first season, which I'm kind of sad about because I like that show.
I
I forgot, was it called Deb's House, I think, or something? But yeah, it was cool. I liked it.
It could have
But
been. I kind of lost track of her after Growing Up Hip Hop, which was my
mhm.
show. But, there was a lot of backstage politics that was going on with that show.
Right, right, for sure. Okay. So we have been talking about wrestling, journalists, and getting on to that very interesting story. I love your story.
Thank
I'm glad
you.
that we're sitting down to chat.
Yes.
And speaking of, if I may speak candidly, your blog, you have been doing a Black History Month spotlight on Black wrestlers. And
Yes.
it's been just great. It's actually really cool because as someone who is kind of like, I mean, I've been, you know, watching like under around wrestling, I guess, or like kind of in the know for off and on since like Attitude Era, I guess. But
Mhm.
I unfortunately wasn't really exposed to the Black wrestlers. The closest was The Rock because well, he's Black and Samoan, so
Right.
um, that was the closest. So for your Black History Month spotlight, did you write because it's you've been releasing them like every day.
Yes.
And I'm so did you write those out ahead of time and then plan and schedule them out? Or have you been writing them every day?
The first 2 weeks. So the first 14 articles were pre-written, and the last, what would that be? The last three, I had to do. Um, I think I wrote those over the weekend because I've been having little family issues. I had to take care of my sister. She's been under the weather. So I
Oh,
haven't really had the time to sit and write in batches like I started off.
right.
Um, but at least for the first half, yes, those was written since um the top of the late part of January, early part of this month. But anything that has happened before it was released, I will hurry up and add it on there. So even
Mm-hmm.
though I had started before the Royal Rumble, I went back to the Javon and I added that he became the Iron Man, of that
Okay.
match and stuff like
Yes.
that. So I definitely will go back and add current events, things that have happened since those were written out.
Right. Well, speaking of Javon, we already got some in the chat. And this is a question
Yes.
that I have had too, that I actually, I think it's important that it is discussed, especially in light of that it went viral, what, yesterday? Um,
Yeah.
so I mean, I have my opinions, but what do you think of the whole Kevin Nash commenting on Javon Evans thing? You're familiar with that, right? Where he was like, he's a little
I
too Bojangles. Yeah,
unfortunately,
yeah.
um,
What are your thoughts on that?
I feel like Kevin Nash is far too old to be saying things for people to say that he didn't mean it the way he said it. He is over 60. And
Yes.
so he knows what he's saying. I think at some point we have to stop giving people the excuse that they didn't mean it that way. It was very intentional. It was very intentional. I don't know how more urban Javon can be. Um, I think it was tacky. I think it was tacky for him to say that. And, I'm always open to being corrected. I do feel like Kevin has not been, I don't feel like Kevin was as careless with his words since the passing of his son. I feel like he has
Oh,
really taken um, a turn down a road where he is a little bit more open about the things that he says that maybe he would have thought a second or third before saying it. But I do feel like Kevin owes Javon an apology. and I will hope that his friend kind of not even so much ask. I will hope that he will insist that he apologizes to Javon for that comment. Because in the current time of what's going on with our leaders or leader and the things that he continuously say every other day and do and post on his socials, yeah, I think Javon deserves that. At the very least, is an apology.
Yeah. Okay. Here's my take on it. I listened to the whole, because in this day and age, a lot of people will take a clip and they'll play that clip, and then there's no like context around it. So I wanted to go listen and hear. Now, the comment came in. They started talking about it when they were talking about Triple H's booking. And I don't know, especially as someone who, like, I mean, I wasn't aware of this, wearing the FUBU jerseys, coming out to the Fugees. I'm not aware of that, but that's good context to know. All I know too was that this man also was retweeted all over Twitter or X because of him calling out the system and how it, how it is just not made for all of us, and speaking truth on that, especially as from what I understand, he's a veteran, right? So I took it as what he was speaking to was the way that Javon's character is, I guess, how he's being presented now that he's on the main roster. And I took it as him kind of like, because when he said that, I kind of even thought about like, look at our truth, how that man is so talented, even at his age, and he still can get out there and scuffle and do the damn thing with the rest of them, with the youngins, and you know what I'm saying? He can still do that, but he's been pigeonholed into this kind of like happy, like whoop whoop whoop. Oh no, you good? We're getting to the meat and potatoes now. You good? So I kind of saw it as him saying he doesn't want Javon to. He doesn't want that for Javon. That's what I kind of saw it as. I know it probably came out like, whoa, and people were saying that it was the way that he worded it. But at the same time, it's in the context of characters and how they're kind of booked and pinned, you know what I'm saying? With that kind of history, even look at the New Day when Big E was there and they had they was doing all the dancing and the booty-os and all that stuff. And then when Big E wasn't a part anymore, they turned the New Day into, they turned heel. And then now it's kind, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, I think that what he was trying to say was he doesn't want that same crap for Javon because Javon is talented. That's how I took it. And with him saying it the way that he did, I know it's very controversial. And a part of me also kind of thinks that part of the reason why we are in this crap that we're in is because sometimes try to tiptoe around things and be PC and kind of be passive about it is kind of what led to the crap that we're in right now. We need to be more frank. And also, considering that his audience is probably mainly white, by him saying that, people are going to be just like, I kind of had to, just to make sure I listened to the context. I was like, I think I know what he's trying to say, but I looked at Mr. Bojangles and to kind of like understand what he is saying. And so I'm kind of thinking like, okay, like also what he said is make people think versus, I mean, it kind of, I think it kind of backfired in the fact that most people just reacted, but people, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming from that perspective.
I guess this is one of those situations where it's the right message, wrong messenger, because that message is going to get lost in translation. Kevin Nash, he knows he is a white man, and he is speaking directly to a 21-year-old. This is a child whose whole frontal lobe is not fully developed. He's just having fun. He's just vibing. You know, he still get excited over the 6'7". You know, this tells you where his mentality is, you know, which we were all there at one point. He's having fun. He's being himself. And for him to have lived through the times of Mr. Bojangles, to have seen what that character stood for, to know why he was portrayed the way he was, and in that time that he was out and he was performing, and you're comparing this child of this current day to him, and then you say, but I want him to be more urban. Well, what is your definition of urban?
That too
and how can he be more urban for you? Because he's just fine for us. We are rooting for him every week that he's on TV, when he was in NXT and when he's on Raw. So he's perfectly fine for us who look like him. So why isn't he enough for you? And, you know, and that's where the question goes. Now, of course, my mind automatically went to, okay, if you feel he's not urban enough, what do you think about Keanu Carver? This man gets on TV and he's beating everybody up every week on NXT. You know, he's portraying this very angry, you know, irate. Maybe we should take the black out of it, even though that's what he is. But he's very angry. He's quick to snap. You know, he has an anger and an attitude issue. Is he urban enough? You know?
Yeah.
Or Trick,
I can see that.
You know, you got Trick and his lemon pepper steppers, and he talks like a black exploitation movie, you know, and his moves, he backslapping people, you know. Is he urban enough for you? So it's like you have to, what you said works for Raquel. She needed that, but at the same time, Raquel is over 30. She can process that. She's been in the business far longer than Javon, so she processed what you said, and it has worked for her. But you have this child who is still a child, even though he's a child in my eyes, you know.
Well, he is still very young. He's 21.
Yeah.
Like he's barely legal to drink.
Exactly, right? So it's like I just feel like the comparison wasn't necessary. If you had said, I want him to be more of this, and not have used the comparison, then maybe the message would have been received better. But we know who Mr. Bojangles is, and that it means different for us, you know, when we are being compared to certain people in the past who didn't have a choice but to be who they could be at that time. They were put in a box. Javon isn't. Javon right now is entertaining the kids. That is who he is being pushed in front of.
That's true.
You know? So let him be a kid.
Yeah.
and let him keep the children happy. He shouldn't be nothing more than what he is.
That's true. I'm glad we're having this discussion. Because like I said, I explained, I had my perspective,
Mhm.
and I was kind of like, a part of me was just like, damn, like everyone is just so, I'm just like, but like
No,
hearing you, like your perspective and kind of like, with him being young, kind of being put, that was actually a good point about two good points. One, about him being pushed to like kids, which actually works right now, considering a lot of the storyline and roster is kind of not for kids. Like it's kind of like, I mean, I guess kids are still okay to like go and
mhm.
whatnot, but it's kind of more for the adults. So, and it's kind, I mean, you know what I mean? Like mommy's on top, always on top,
Right.
Liv, talking about she's always been a screamer. Like,
Yeah.
Daddy Dom. You know what I'm saying? Like that's kind of a little bit older, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, but having someone a little bit closer in age and someone who can kind of like, like bouncy, you know what I'm saying? He's like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
For kids, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So
Cuz I don't
that,
I don't know if we really had that growing
yeah.
up. I mean, we used to see women flash. They used to have bras and
Oh my
panty
God.
matches. They used to have mud
Yeah.
matches. You could not watch a Raw or a SmackDown without the King talking about puppies and being the horny old man that he
That's
is.
true.
You know,
Yeah.
I not like I said, I'm open for corrections. I feel like John Cena was the one that kind of started pushing towards kids, despite the fact that he did have some rated R moments.
Mm-hmm.
But I still feel like John was a little bit more safer
Mm-hmm.
for the young generation. And this is why, even to this day, before he retired, he still had children, even children who wasn't alive when he had first started wrestling, kind of cling
Mm-hmm.
to him as well.
Yeah. Yeah, that, and also too, like I can understand the whole urban comment of it all,
Yeah.
because that is something that I myself, um, it's like be blacker, you know, that is something that I myself have kind of like growing up. I was basically growing up in like Black and brown neighborhoods, okay, but then going to white schools. So I was obviously not white enough for the white kids, and then not Black enough because for the Black kids or Black folks, because even the Black folks at my school, the Black and brown people at my school thought I was stuck up, kind of what, you know what I'm saying? Like they kind of,
Hmm.
I just had something that I wasn't as urban, so to speak,
Yeah.
even though I grew up in Southeast San Diego where it was like Sawyer Brothers, Imperial, there was like, you know what I'm saying? Like just stuff
Yeah.
like I understand, you know what I'm saying? I get it.
Hmm.
And have been through my own struggles and stuff like that. But then it was just like I wasn't like Black enough.
Right.
So it's kind of that. So I can understand that, um, that kind of like, how dare you? Like Black people can only be like da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
that's it. Like no, there are different genres of Black people.
Exactly.
Just like
That's exactly fact. It's true.
so yeah, for sure. Um, so yeah, thank you for that. That was yes.
Yeah.
So now that we kind of are talking about like storylines and things of that nature, in your opinion, who has the best storyline in wrestling right now and why? And you can mention from any promo.
The fact that I have to think so hard, it's
I
annoying.
know. I thought you were
Um,
frozen, girl. I thought you was at a tech table.
because it's like every current storyline that I could think of off the top of my head, I feel like I would change something of it.
Okay.
Um,
Is that from any promo?
yeah, because I'm even
Oh
thinking about
wow.
I'm thinking about AEW right now. Like, if I was to speak on AEW, I really enjoyed the story between Chris and Tekla. Um, the fact that Tekla got the title first try, um, I was a little, I was a little irritated by that. I wanted to see that progress a little more, but sometimes I just feel like, hey, they just really feel like sometimes we need to shake the table a little bit. So a champion might lose their title on a first defense, like Samoa Joe. Um, or they might lose their title to the new guy, like Mark Briscoe and Ciampa, just for Ciampa to lose it back to Kyle. Um, so there's a lot of title changes that they're doing over there, which I do appreciate. But if there's a story right now, um, I would probably say the one that I'm enjoying right now is Blake Monroe and Jada Parker.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that's fun. I
Yeah.
do. I think it's fun. I liked where they were going with Jade and Jordan. Um, but I really do like Blake and Jada because they both have very strong personalities. And I was just having a conversation with my friend, who probably is still in the comments, a few days ago, where we were talking about how we don't necessarily like how Blake is kind of like put in a bubble since being in WWE, because of, if anyone has ever really seen how she wrestled in Japan and in AEW, she's been kind of closed off. Like, hey, Blake, our wrestlers are trained, for those type of fighting styles, so we're going to need you to have to take it a little easy on them, take it a little easy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's the same with Stephanie, and definitely the same with Julia. We've seen it with Io and with Asuka and with Kyrie, but I think that's just the chances that you take when you get signed to WWE. You just have to, what they liked you for, to want to offer you a contract, you can't bring that here. So
Which is so weird. That's so weird.
It really is. We love what you did out there. It grabbed our attention, but you can't bring that here. You have to leave it out there.
Yeah.
And I think that kind of hurts them in the long run. I mean, you get the money, you get the fame, get the fortune with it, but you just kind of lose what you worked so hard outside of WWE, which is one reason why I'm glad Will Ospreay decided to go to AEW, because when I watched his matches, I said to myself, yeah, he would not have been able to do half of that stuff over there. None of that. They would have not have allowed that. So, I think those who have made the choice to be where they are making the best choices for themselves.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. Before I continue, though, I know I set us for like an hour. It's a little over that. Are you still good?
Yes.
You are? Okay, cool. I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, you bring up some good points. That is so weird about WWE. Like, I even kind of noticed a little bit in NXT. You can kind of bring it to NXT, but when you get signed to that main roster, it's a different story.
You
Um,
can't do it. Yeah, you
and it's
have
so
to.
weird. Are I feel like AEW is not like that. Is TNA like that? Because now they're kind of, are they kind of partnered in? It's an
I
interesting partnership
don't.
they have.
I don't feel like TNA was like that. No, because a lot of the old matches that they will show, especially with Kurt Angle, um, Jeff Jarrett, Samoa Joe when he was over there. I mean, those matches were brutal. They were brutal. They fought to the end. Um, but hmm, um,
I was for this question, I was actually going to ask, I was kind of thinking, what do you kind of consider push? If the push is like putting them in front of a huge audience and stage, possibly WWE, even though AEW is kind of on the come up. But if you're thinking of like, just like kind of just pushing in general, maybe AEW.
I
Because I mean, look
can.
at Mercedes Moné now.
I mean, yeah, but people will argue that most of the people know Mercedes Monet because she was Sasha Banks first.
True,
You
true.
know, it that, and I love my boy, but that was such a loaded question because it's like how can you answer that without saying um both companies have kind of held black people back at some point because they have. Yes,
Oh,
they
yeah.
done well by Swerve, absolutely, but you still have the infantry that's on Ring of Honor. You have Red Velvet that they keep on Ring of Honor. They have Athena who comes back and forth, but mainly because she's the champion on Ring of Honor, that's where she's at. You have the Shane Taylor promotion, mainly in Ring of Honor. Lee, you know, can't forget how they treated Big Swole, you know, Private Party, so it's kind of, it goes back and forth. I feel like it's more so of it's individual, I would say. I feel like it depends on the individual itself. I can say the same thing about WWE. The way that they do New Day and the Street Profits, I think is
Oh,
pitiful. I think it's absolutely
yeah.
pitiful. Um, yes, like Royce. You offered Royce a contract to WWE. We have not seen him since the Royal Rumble. He had one um pre-match. I think it was for main
Mm-hmm.
event. Um, haven't really seen or
Is
heard
it,
about
is
him.
it, is it possible that with Royce Keys, maybe they're still trying to figure out what to do with him because now they're Obafemi's there too. So they're kind of, and they've kind of seemed like they've kind of put all their eggs over the two. It seems like they kind of put all their eggs in the Obafemi basket. And so now they're
But
kind of not sure what to do with him. And then also now Apollo Crews is back, right?
yeah,
So,
but that's what I mean. You wanted this guy. You saw him on TV.
yeah.
You saw his physique, and you said, "Oh, we can make money off of him. He will do great over here." And then you get him, and you don't know what to do with him. You should have had a plan from jump. Send him to
That's
NXT.
true.
But then I
Yeah.
guess you think, okay, well, we already got Troy over there. We got Keanu over here. Do we need another BBC? I don't know. They probably like, I don't know. Do we? But honestly, I feel like, you know what? Put him over there on NXT. You want to know why? Because I know Sean is going to make sure he's fine. I trust Sean in bookings more than Triple H. at this
It
point.
seems like a lot of people do at this point.
I really do. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but to say who pushes them the most, NXT. That's my answer.
That
NXT.
part. You know what? Yes,
Shawn Michaels
NXT.
pushed them.
There
Shawn
we
Michaels
go.
will, because the fact that he had Oba and Trick and Javon, and he kept them together, and he put the TNA and the NXT title on Trick. Oba pretty much dominated the NXT. He's a 2-time NXT champion himself. Javon, they trusted him to go into TNA. They linked him up with Leon Slater. They
I
had
was
him
gonna
on
say
the main
Leon Slater
roster.
too. Yeah, yeah.
Like, that's my answer. NXT. You want to do well? Go to NXT. Sean will take care of you. Sean will take care of you. Mhm.
For sure. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. So kind of staying on topic a little bit with storylines and whatnot, how would you book the rest of WrestleMania 42 in Vegas this year? It's 42, right? I'm just making sure. I don't.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Good. Okay.
Okay. All right. So y'all don't hate me, but I would book for Cody to go up against Drew at WrestleMania. But Cody would not win. Cody would not win. Drew
Okay.
will
Good.
win.
Okay. Okay. We get somewhere.
I know. I know I am a Cody crybaby, but I can see the bigger picture. Cody don't need to win. But I really
Thank
feel
you.
like this win over Cody needs to have a psychological effect on him. I need Cody to have like a mental breakdown. I need him. I don't know if we will ever get Dashing Cody Rhodes again, but I do need him to just like Natty. I need to see the other side. I need to see something happen.
Crash out Cody.
I need to see Crash Out Cody. I need to see
Crash
Cody
out
just
Cody.
lose his mind because he lost again.
Okay.
And because Drew is so good at just being a troll, I think
He is.
he can feed into it, and it will certainly make Cody just completely lose his mind. I would hope so. I would hope so. But I would definitely have Cody lose. Now, when it comes down to CM Punk and Roman, I'm a little at a standstill because as much as I would love to see CM Punk carry that title, I do not see Roman losing at WrestleMania. I don't see Roman losing at WrestleMania. Yeah. He's going to take that title off of CM Punk.
Oh yeah.
But it's such a hard question to answer because the way everything been kind of screwy leading up to this, I don't know how you could clean up this mess. I don't know how you could undo what has been done so far to make a really good WrestleMania, because a lot of the storylines leading up to WrestleMania should have been solidified before the Royal Rumble, and it seems like they kind of scrambling to find something to make sense leading up to WrestleMania.
They scrambling them eggs in the kitchen. They scrambling. They beating them. They're trying.
Yeah, and it's like, and they're scared. They're absolutely scared that this is going to be a very disappointing WrestleMania, and it's leading up to that. Now, not to say that things can't change, right? But I mean, we only have a couple of more weeks. I don't know how they are going to be able to manage it,
especially with the way I'm hearing that ticket sales aren't doing as well. They're
Yes.
what, 30, they're like what, by this time they're down 30% since last year
Yeah.
at this time.
I, I heard that
Like,
WWE is so generous to give us a percentage off selected tickets, not all tickets, but a
oh,
selected.
selected. And it was only
Yes,
for what, 3 days? It was only for the weekend.
yeah, yeah. And it's like, well, you're not making it very exciting for us. You know, the tickets is already a mortgage for
Okay.
some people to go
Didn't
there. You
someone
have now, yeah, the tickets
did so
are,
I know, didn't
uh,
someone have a sign? Someone had a sign at one of the PLEs and said, what they say? It said something about their mortgage. I took out a
yeah,
mortgage like, to have
I'm
these
telling you,
seats.
it's absolutely ridiculous. Like you had YouTuber, now wrestler BDE, who was interviewed by Chris Van Vliet, who said he spent $20,000 to go to the Royal Rumble. The
Well,
Royal
why are
Rumble.
people why are people doing that I mean, I get it. But damn, like,
I would have thought, as someone who is seemingly known, popular, very popular online, I thought he would have at least been able to get a discount or something. I mean, 20 racks on the Royal Rumble is, I mean, if you got it, but the quality in the shows, I don't feel like has improved to where you are overly charging people, you
right,
know, and this is why people are going to AEW. So the customers that you are losing in WWE, people are going to AEW because they get in more bangs for their bucks. And hey, any show with Darby is always going to be a show because this man put his life on the line every match that he has. So, you know, you're going to get a good show at AEW regardless, but, you know, the prices are worth it.
right. And back to that YouTuber, what they used to do, and they stopped doing it, what, in the fall of last year, they used to give people passes, like you have media passes to be able to, you know, and because I remember a content creator, I forgot her name, but she posted about it. One of her last videos before that like stopped was that, you know, she was there basically for free, and she was part of, you know, what was the press conferences and them asking questions and stuff like that and posting
Hmm.
about it. So yeah, him spending that 20, yeah. So they stopped doing that. Um, and now, even in Vegas, apparently what they're doing now is, and I actually kind of experienced this. I wanted to do like a, you know, because I'm part of Culture Clash Network. I wanted to do something for Survivor Series. I wanted to kind of have like a little meetup and go to a bar and then watch Survivor Series.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like watch it downtown in a bar or whatever. And, you know, for people who couldn't afford to go, like myself,
Right.
for Survivor Series. And I wanted to do that. And as I was, no, it wasn't Denise. It wasn't Denise. It was someone else. I forgot her name. Damn.
Oh.
Um, but but I was calling around and I was talking to two bars that were local that seemed like, okay, they were right. They would, you know, be interested in doing it and whatever. And one of them was telling me like, both of them were telling me that it's very expensive to show, even though they did have, one of the bars had cable network with ESPN. So they didn't even have to get the ESPN package, but they would have had to pay on top of it
Mm.
and like pay extra on top of it. And part of the reason why was because Survivor Series is right down the street. So it's kind of like the
Right.
same thing with WrestleMania now being in Vegas. And anyone within a 50-mile radius, they're saying you can't show it. It's either going to be you can't show it, or they're going to make them pay an arm and a leg. And then, of course, they'll have to pass that on to the customer, people who want to go watch it, like myself, you know?
That's
Um,
crazy.
so it's crazy. And it was also interesting too, because there was another person on Instagram. He went to, I keep forgetting these people's names, but He's a fan. He went to Royal Rumble in Saudi. And I think he said he paid in total, I want to say I think it was a little over $1,300 round trip. And he was there for 7 days. He was there the Royal Rumble week, was at the hotel for 7 days. It was his airfare there and back. And he did meet and greets and he had good seats.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, it does pay to kind of go overseas, but I'm not taking my black ass over to Saudi Arabia.
Man,
My black
listen,
female bi ass. I'm not taking my ass over there.
yeah, there is like too many laws you have to know before stepping out there. But see, but my thing is this: so you're not allowing bars and stuff to, sports bars and different places. I'm sure they're gonna have that Globe in Las Vegas. I'm sure that'll probably be an arm and a leg as well. But my thing is, why can't people just rent out an Airbnb, charge your friends, a little $10 fee, nothing much, BYOB, or drink or water, whatever. And, if you want to experience Vegas, I say you should still go. If you're going to watch WrestleMania out there, sure, because there's going to be so many other wrestling promotions that's out there at the same time. Also, you still have you'll still have like fanatics out there. So you can still do the meet and greets, but yes, the Sphere. Or they probably would, but they probably gonna charge an arm and a leg for it. But I just say Airbnb it. Get you a nice little crib, maybe not an apartment, because people get rowdy. When their faves lose or they win. But definitely find you a little place, and I say get a whole bunch of friends and just have a time in Vegas at an Airbnb and just watch it, as family,
Right.
There's always ways around it. TKO, just to hear how they have kind of knit the complimentary tickets for their employees and their wrestlers and stuff, now of course when I heard it,
Wait, they have to pay too, like Talent Family and stuff. They have to pay?
man, Rikishi was complaining about it. I said, Rikishi, there's like 111 of y'all. It's too many of y'all. That's too many free tickets for y'all. It's too many. My brother,
Yeah,
you don't
sis.
need any. But yeah, and a former friend who is a former employee there, they knit the complimentary tickets going back to like the top of 2024. So if you wanted your family there, if you knew you was going to win the title and you wanted your family there, you were paying for them to be there.
Well, also too, they count as their independent contractors, so they're not employees.
So
that can't be a perk.
They don't. Exactly. So they're not unscathed. The wrestlers are getting a bad end of the deal as well.
Yeah. Stop their I didn't know that was a thing. But they also now I wonder if they swapped this out for the movie theater. Remember the movie theater thing?
I think that only
now.
I do remember the watch along, and I do remember them trying to do the movie theater thing.
They did that a couple times now.
Yeah, for just a handful of pay-per-views. This is the time to start supporting indies. So by all means, definitely tune into Fourth Row. It's definitely for us. Ashe, definitely a good promotion. If you're a fan of Karrion Cross, definitely support MLW. I've been to a couple of their shows, very good shows. Um,
CCW.
now, yes, yes, it's just now it's just time to just support the smaller brands, the smaller promotions, because just like with every capitalist in the world, if you want to get their attention, you got to hurt their pockets. And right now they're
Mm,
scrambling over WrestleMania 42 because for the first time in a long time, the tickets are not selling as fast as they want them to, you know, and now they're starting to panic. And it's
right.
like, yeah, it doesn't help that the tickets are practically $1 million. It doesn't pay that you are now telling these businesses that's going to be in the surrounding area that they can't show it. It doesn't help that, even to go to the regular televised shows cost you an arm and a leg. People, you got to read the room. Look at what's going on outside of wrestling. People are struggling to make ends meet, and they want to
Good.
come to this
They're in good with the orange man, so they can't see it.
they exactly, and that's when, you're gonna have to hit their pockets, So if only 20,000 people show up at WrestleMania, which between now and then they're gonna figure out a way to bring those tickets up. Either they're gonna continue to push the stories, and if that don't work, then they're probably gonna go with the AEW route, which is 25% off for 3 days only. But it's only for selected seats. You want the floor seats,
Yeah.
you still got to pay full price. But we could give you
Mhm.
middle to nosebleeds for only 25% off. I mean, they're going to figure out a way to convince people to go, but I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think the amount of people that's going to be there is going to be as high as it was last year. I don't think so. I think they're going to
Right.
take a dip in the audience number.
Right. All right. Well, this has been a very fulfilling conversation.
Yes.
I really appreciate you. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
Um, yeah. Those of you in the chat with the comments, I appreciate y'all too. Yeah. So just a real quick question, and then you can tell people
Mhm.
where they can find you. But just really quickly, I do want to ask, who do you think, and we may have touched on this a little bit,
Mhm.
um, who do you think is the most underrated and underutilized wrestler from each promo? If you can, WWE, AEW, TNA.
Um, if I'm gonna be honest, in WWE, I have to go with Montez because as much as I love Street Profits, I've definitely been pushing for Montez to go solo.
Yeah.
I am in, maybe I'm in the majority that wants them to stick together, but at the same time, I feel like Montez could be up there with his wife. So I would definitely say Montez in WWE. When it comes down to AEW, um, hmm, I would. I don't know. I'm taking both men and women. Okay. I want to say Megan Bain. I don't like this whole Megathon. I don't know the name between her and Penelope. I don't like it. I've seen her wrestle in GCW. She should have came and pretty much took over the women's division in AEW. I feel like they have downplayed her to no end. I don't like it. I don't. In TNA, um, I want to say AJ Francis.
Okay.
I feel like AJ has done such an incredible job building himself to where he is now after being dropped by WWE. He has made a name for himself, and he was one of the bigger indie names that pretty much built themselves up in the last few years after being, dropped from what would be considered the pinnacle of wrestling, which is WWE. I feel like AJ is underrated.
Okay.
So yeah,
I did notice that as you got to the other promos, you had to kind of think more about them, whereas WWE is very obvious.
yes, yes. I mean, I'm a always be a speaker of sorts when it comes down to Street Profits. I don't know. I just have I just don't like how they've been booked. I just don't like how they've been kind of handled, rather. You
Right.
know, I feel like they've been treated like another tag team, when they were getting the crowd jumping just as much as the Usos do. But yeah, when it comes down to the other promotions, I feel like maybe the issue isn't so much that they're not being utilized, it's the fact that they have creative control. So therefore, hey, you either sink or swim. This is your idea. This is how you want to be portrayed. So you go out there. We'll back you up. If it fails, just know that's on you, not on us. And I think for the most part, it works for them because they can be in full character because that's who they see themselves as. Whereas in WWE, it's so structured that they will create the character for you and you got to fit yourself in that character, which could probably not only dumb down your skills, but also it's kind of like how, I'm trying to remember what wrestler had said it recently, but just make them lose the love for the sport. It just doesn't become fun anymore.
Right.
But people know that's what WWE is. If you want creative control and money, you go to AEW. If you want fame and fortune, but also be told what to do, you can't cut your hair, you can't dye your hair, you can't get a tan, you can't do none of that without running it past them first. You gotta go to WWE. And I didn't think that was, yes, Ricochet and Saraya. Ricochet said that about WWE, and then Saraya said that about AEW. So I thought it was kind of funny that they both
Interesting.
kind of
Swap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I didn't think that was still a thing until I watched Unreal, and then watching R-Truth pretty much just saying he wants to cut his hair. It seemed like he had to kind of run that by Triple H first.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you grown ass man, I gotta ask you, can I cut my hair?
Yeah.
I'm not even on TV more than 5 minutes at a time. you
Yeah,
know?
and I thought they were really gonna kind of. I really thought they were gonna kind of take a story like and run. You know, what I'm saying, okay, take this moment and kind of run with it. And it was just,
I think it was all good until Unreal came out. Then we saw what really happened.
yeah,
And it worked for Carrion. They was able to ignore the fans and Carrion contract overlap and him and
hmm
Scarlett they left. It couldn't work for R-Truth. Why? Because even the wrestlers spoke out about it. Even the
right.
wrestlers got on social media and spoke out very loudly about him being gone. And that it backfired for them. Because now even
hmm
their own employees are saying you're screwing up by getting rid of R-Truth.
Right, right. All right. Well, thank you so much. That was the last question. Again, thank you everyone for joining. And, tell everyone where they can find you, what you're doing, projects you have going on, and things of that nature.
Well, I'm going to start recording If I May Speak Candidly again.
Mhm.
Um, just like I had mentioned earlier about being put in boxes, I kind of wanted to expand If I May Speak Candidly beyond just wrestling, which is
Mhm.
one of the reasons why it um kind of became a hassle for me to continue recording because low key I wanted to talk about more things than just wrestling. My whole
Yeah.
background is pop culture entertainment. So, I want to get into the things that's going on in the pop culture world as well. So, when I do start recording again, which is very, very soon, it will be more than just wrestling. So
Ah,
I will be talking about what's going on with Drake or academics or, you know, even just what's going on in the world in general, but it will definitely be more of a broader platform than it
yeah,
originally started.
for sure. Yeah. And it's kind of like it is kind of hard to, speaking from Tasty Talks Tech Wrestling and Life, it is kind of hard to like nowadays because everyone, all the media outlets, they kind of want you to put yourself in a one box, and it's like,
Hmm.
okay, but I want to talk about other stuff. Like I don't want it to
Right.
just, So I feel you in that of trying to kind of like, yeah, I want to talk about, yes, wrestling, but then you also want to talk about other things. So kind of like that balance. So,
Yeah.
more power to you.
Thank you.
I'm looking forward to um seeing more of what you're doing.
Yes.
And yeah, I'm excited that we got to sit down and have a little kiki. I know it went way over
Yeah.
time. So thank you so much for being gracious with your time.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Um, so for real this time, thank you everyone for coming out and watching. Thank you, Megan. And
Yeah.
I will see you guys tomorrow for the Mimi Morning Show. It'll be at 10:30 a.m. Pacific time. So everyone, ciao for now.
Bye.